Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alicia and thank you so much for being here today. In today's reading vlog, we are reading a classic. We are reading The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This book was published 99 years ago in 1925, and I'm pretty sure I've never read this. If I did read it in high school, I don't remember, but I am fairly certain that I've never read this book. We read everything else, but I do not ever recall reading The Great Gatsby, so I'm super excited to get into this. This is set in New York during the Jazz Age. I guess it's chronicling the excesses and the decadences of what happened during this time in the 1920s, while also telling us, I guess it's a cautionary critique of the American dream. There is a man named Nick Carraway. He is the narrator of our story. He moves into a cottage next door to a mansion that is owned by someone named Jay Gatsby. Nick gets an invite to one of Jay's many lavish parties that he's constantly throwing, and I guess they strike up a friendship, and then I guess Gatsby's murky business endeavors and his shady past come to light. Nick starts finding out about that, and then this potential love story emerges between Jay and his obsession with this married woman named Daisy Buchanan. However, it says that it ends in tragedy. These events will spiral into some sort of tragedy, so I don't know if they get there happily ever after. There was a movie that came out about 10 to 12 years ago with Leonardo DiCaprio called Gatsby. I did watch it, but again, that was over a decade ago. I don't remember anything. I don't remember the movie ending in tragedy. I don't remember having a bad taste about the movie, but I don't remember anything. And again, I'm pretty sure I've never read this book. So let's just jump in. It's very short. It's 181 pages. Also, happy April 2024. That's when I am reading this. But yeah, let's just dive in. Okay, like I said, the book is narrated by Nick Carraway. So Nick graduated from New Haven in 1915, and then he casually throws out there that he participated in the Great War. Sir, you were in the Great War. I need some more information on that. But no, we don't get any. He just says he participated in it and he enjoyed it so much, so thoroughly much is how it's worded, that when he came back to the Midwest, he was so restless, he just needed to get out of there. So he wanted to venture east to go into the bond business. Can we go back to the Great War? I need to hear more about your time in that. So anyways, he decides to go east because everyone he knows is in the bond business, and his dad has agreed to support him for 1 year. I'll support you for 1 year, and then after that, you're on your own. Okay. It is the spring of 1922, and he's gone out east, and I guess he already has a job. He's already working for a firm. No idea how any of this came about, but there's a man that he works with that says, we should get a place together and we can commute into town. And he agrees. Nick says, yeah, that sounds great. So they find a bungalow for $80 a month. 80 a month? Oh my goodness. And then at the last second, I guess right before they were about to move in, his coworker slash almost roommate ends up getting transferred to a firm in Washington and has to leave. So then Nick is thinking, where am I gonna go? Where am I gonna stay? Well, then he finds a cottage and moves into it, and he has a dog, but he only had that dog for a couple of days because then the dog ran away. So Nick is a terrible pet owner. So we've got that down, and he drives a Dodge. It doesn't say what though. What, a caravan, a pickup truck? What are you driving? But okay, and then there's a Finnish woman, Finnish, Finnish. He says there's a Finnish woman that cooks his breakfast and makes his bed for him. Do you have a maid? It doesn't say, it just says he's there with a Finnish woman. Is she your girlfriend? I'm not sure. But I know I just started this book, but I have to go. I have a hair appointment. I'm gonna go get my hair cut, but I will be back. I'm gonna read this at the hair salon, and then I'll give y'all some more updates. Hey! So it's been 5 days since I last checked in with y'all and since I last picked up the book. Apologies there. It's still April. Hello. So I've read a little bit this morning, and all I've got to tell y'all so far is that his little cottage is in the middle of all of these McMansions. And Nick is aware that someone named Mr. Gatsby lives next door to him, but he doesn't know who he is. He hasn't met him, seen him, nothing. He hasn't been invited to any of his crazy parties. And then remember, this book is really old, and so Nick's rent per month is $80. Oh my goodness. And then he knows that all the mansions that he's around are, what did it say, about $10,000 to $15,000 per season. So not even per month. So cheap back then. Not that they were making a ton of money back then. But right now he's on his way to the Buchanan's house to have lunch or dinner. It hasn't said, but it's Tom Buchanan and Daisy Buchanan. Daisy is his second cousin, once removed. She's married to Tom. Tom played football in college and I guess was this amazing superstar athlete. I'm not sure what happened after that. All he talked about was his college years. And Tom also comes from an extremely wealthy family. That's what Nick is telling us. But that's all I've got so far in this check-in. But I'll keep reading and update y'all. Okay, we've met Tom. Also, Nick is there for dinner. They're eating dinner out on the porch. Tom is disgusting. He's, how would you describe it? He's sexist. He's racist. He's arrogant. He's selfish. Tom is awful. I don't like him. And my husband has warned me so many times that I'm not going to like any of these characters. Right now, I hate Tom. Nick is something. Daisy's annoying, kind of dumb. And she has a friend there, but no one knows her name. Nick just kind of refers to her as Miss Baker. He thinks that's what Daisy said. And apparently Daisy mumbles a lot, and she does it intentionally to get you to lean forward, I guess, to listen to her more. But then she just continues to mumble. I don't know. I guess I don't really like her either, but I hate Tom. Daisy said, Tom's been getting very profound. He reads deep books with long words in them. These people, oh my gosh. Okay, so they're on the porch, they're eating, the phone keeps ringing. The butler, they have a butler, comes outside and whispers in Tom's ear. Tom gets up and goes inside. And then Daisy, I guess, knows what's going on with this phone call. So she goes inside, and I guess there's some scuffle. And Miss Baker keeps trying to eavesdrop while Nick is trying to talk to Miss Baker. And she just keeps shushing him and telling him, I want to hear what's going on. And Nick is saying, is something going on? And she said, oh, well, don't you know? Tom is cheating on Daisy. He's seeing another woman. You would think that woman would have the decency to not call during dinner time. So then Daisy and Tom come back out to the porch. They sit down, and then the phone rings again. And then Tom gets up, and he leaves the table. And we don't know that time if it's his mistress. Well, then dinner ends, and Nick is walking around with Daisy outside, and he's trying to ask Daisy about her 3-year-old. I guess Tom and Daisy have a 3-year-old daughter. They haven't really talked much about her. I don't know if she was sleeping during dinner. Where is this child? We have not seen her. And then Daisy just interrupts him and says, look, I know we're cousins, but you don't really know me. I guess because Nick is asking questions about their daughter, and so Daisy doesn't want to get too personal. And then Daisy says, Nick, you didn't even come to my wedding. And Nick said, yeah, because I wasn't back from the war. And Daisy just doesn't care. She's just like, oh, well, regardless, I've had a rough time, Nick. I'm having a really rough time, and I've become very cynical. Woman. He was in the war. Okay, yeah, I get it. I get why my husband said I'm gonna hate everybody. I'm on page 19, and yeah, we're getting there, but I'm starting to not like anyone. When Daisy's daughter was less than 1 hour old, Daisy woke up from, I don't know, asleep. I guess she passed out after she had the baby. I'm not sure. It doesn't give you a lot of details. It just sort of glosses over big things. But the way she says it was, I'll show you how bad things have gotten. Well, when my daughter was less than an hour old and Tom was God knows where, ... I just wanted to tell y'all that her baby was born and the dad wasn't even there. Where was Tom? Where was daddy when his daughter was born? Okay, we know that Mrs. Baker, her first name is Jordan, and she plays something. It hasn't said it yet, but since this book is 99 years old, I know she plays golf. I remember that, so I'm sure that's it. And Nick starts to remember something and then doesn't fully remember it, but there was some sort of scandal involving Jordan, and that's why he kept thinking she looked so familiar. And Daisy wants to set up Nick and Jordan, and she just keeps coming up with these ridiculous ways to get them together so that he'll marry her. And is this the beginning of their love story? Do they have a love story? Because I don't remember that. And then after Jordan leaves, or not leaves, but she goes to bed, she just says, wake me up at 8 tomorrow. Well, it's Nick, Daisy, and Tom standing outside, and Nick is leaving. He's getting in his car, and Daisy says, wait, I heard you were engaged. And Tom says, yeah, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I did hear that you were engaged. And Nick just says, no, absolutely not. I was never engaged. I'm too poor for the woman that I was supposedly going to be with. And Daisy's ridiculous. Daisy says, no, I heard it from 3 different people, so it must be true. What is wrong with these people? Tom just takes Nick by the elbow and says, come on, I want you to meet my girl. His mistress is who he's talking about. As if Nick and Tom's wife aren't family. Sure. So Nick, just kind of against his will, goes with Tom to meet his mistress, who is married. She's married to someone named George Wilson. And this Wilson guy has no idea that his wife is cheating on him. He thinks that every time his wife leaves, she's headed into the city to see her sister. Okay. Nick still hasn't done anything wrong that I hate. Same thing with Jordan, although I know there's a scandal with Jordan. We just haven't gotten to it yet. But okay, maybe I shouldn't feel too bad that Daisy is ultimately going to cheat on Tom with Gatsby. I think that's how that goes down. I really don't remember. But Tom is just out here having this affair and doesn't care. And he's having an affair with a woman that's also married. She's having an affair. And I can't believe he brought Nick along to meet her. Tom's mistress's name is Myrtle. We've learned that. And they're all at this party. Everyone's drunk. And Nick is telling the reader that this is only the second time in his life that he's ever been drunk. So he said everything was sort of hazy. But Myrtle starts yelling out Daisy's name over and over and over. And Daisy's not there. Daisy's not at this party. Tom is there. And she's just yelling out, Daisy, 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 in front of Tom. And Tom turns around and breaks her nose. Jay Gatsby throws some wild parties. Nick is describing them to us, and it's insane. There are so many people, so many cars. There's chauffeurs, butlers, caterers. It is so much. It's so extravagant. And Nick got an actual invite to Jay's party. A chauffeur showed up at his house with a note that said something along the lines of, you are cordially invited to attend my little party. These parties go on from about 9 a.m. until after midnight. And Nick, I guess, is headed into the party, and he's telling us that a lot of these people don't get invited. They just show up. And a lot of them will go in, and even once attending the party and then leaving, they still don't even meet Mr. Gatsby. But Nick is headed there. I guess he's going to his first party, and I guess he's hoping to meet the Jay Gatsby. But, oh my gosh, it's extravagant. I cannot even explain it any other way, the way these parties are. Everyone goes to Gatsby's house to these parties, but no one knows who he is. It's as if no one's met him. They don't know what he looks like. They don't know anything about him. And all of these people are just whispering, and Nick is just standing back listening to all of these rumors. So some of them are, somebody told me they thought he killed a man once. Well, he was a German spy during the war. No, I heard that from a man who knew all about him because they grew up together in Germany. No, it couldn't be that because he was in the American army during the war. And then someone else, oh, I bet he's killed a man. The rumors, they're just talking about him. They're at his house. How do you just go to a party at someone's house who you don't know? You don't know the host. And then at said party, you're just whispering about him. All of you people, just all of these rumors. Nick has met Gatsby accidentally. They're just at the party and Gatsby looks over at him and says that Nick looks familiar. Apparently they were in the war together. Gatsby says, your face is familiar. Weren't you in the 1st Division during the war? And Nick says, why, yes, I was in the 28th Infantry. And then Gatsby says, I was in the 16th until June 1918. I knew I'd seen you somewhere before. And then he and Nick just start talking. And then Nick just throws out there that he's never met the host of any of these parties, but he lives right next door and he got a formal invite. And then Gatsby says, oh, that's me. I'm Jay Gatsby. And Nick is so taken aback. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And Gatsby says, no, I'm sorry. I feel like a terrible host. Hello, it's me. I guess during this time, people weren't getting in trouble yet for drinking and driving. And there's a man leaving this party and his car ended up in a ditch. And the conversation that followed is just absurd. Someone says to the driver, how did it happen? And the driver he's in the ditch in the car and he just shrugs his shoulders. And then he says, I know nothing whatever about mechanics. And then the person asking what happened says, but how did it happen? Did you run into the wall? And the driver says, don't ask me. I know very little about driving. Next to nothing. It happened and that's all I know. Oh my gosh. Jordan, I don't like her, which I know is the point of the book. I'm not supposed to like anybody, but her and Nick are, I don't know, they're like casually dating for the summer. The summer's continuing on and they are whatever they are, but she rents a car to take it to a party and I guess it's a convertible or a soft top, and she has the top down and it starts raining. So obviously the car gets ruined and she lies about it. So he called her, what did he say? I don't know, something dishonest. I forgot what he said in front of that. And then he remembered when he had first met her why she looked so familiar. And it wasn't because she's, popular with playing golf. It's because she had lied about moving a ball and then somehow it all got covered up. It was in the tabloids and then everyone retracted it. I don't know. So that's shady right there. Well, now he's with her in the car and she's driving and she almost hit a guy. And he just says, you're a terrible driver. And she says, yeah, but it takes 2 people to cause an accident. So I just know that other people need to look out for me. You're awful. I guess no one still knows what Gatsby does and how he has all this money to throw these lavish parties and have string quartets playing at his parties. And this one woman says he's a bootlegger and he once killed a man who found out that he was the second cousin to the devil. Oh dear word. Well, I know Nick has told us at that first party that Nick went to, Gatsby had to keep leaving because this butler kept coming up to him with phone calls. And one of the times his butler said, Mr. Gatsby, Chicago is on the phone. So we had to go and take that call. Well, then the butler came up to him again and said, Mr. Gatsby, Philadelphia is on the phone. So I don't know, he's got some business ventures that he's dealing in and I guess making money from. I think I know what it is, just because again, this book is 99 years old. But it's just so funny, the rumors, what people say about him and how he has made his wealth. Nick is very curious about what Gatsby does for a living, and Gatsby himself is aware of all the accusations and the rumors. So they're out one day getting lunch per Gatsby, pretty much just forcing Nick, saying, "You're coming to lunch with me." I don't know why Nick is always getting forced to do things with Tom and with Gatsby. So Gatsby mentions it, that, you know, he hears the stories that are told about him, and Gatsby tells him that he was educated at Oxford and that he was also in the war and wanted to die, but instead got promoted to major. And Nick isn't believing any of this, but Gatsby shows him proof. I mean, is it actual proof? I'm not sure. He shows him this picture of him and a bunch of people at Oxford, and I guess they played, I don't know, a sport together. And then he shows Nick this medallion to prove that he was major after the war. I don't know. We'll see. But everyone thinks that Gatsby is doing something more shady. And Gatsby also said that he comes from a very rich family, and they're all dead now, so they all left their money to him. Apologies if you can hear my dishwasher going. I'm just finishing up having lunch in my kitchen. So I'm reading some more, and I didn't know, I guess Daisy and Gatsby knew each other a long time ago. They knew each other before she got married to Tom. They knew each other and fell in love before the war happened. And then Gatsby went off to the war, and when he came back, I guess he never tried to find Daisy. And so Daisy went off and married Tom. Well, now Gatsby, I guess, knows where Daisy lives, and that's why he chose this particular mansion where he himself lives. And he knows that Nick is related to her, and so he's asking Nick if he'll invite Daisy over to Nick's house and then have Gatsby come over to see Daisy. What? I remember I saw the movie so long ago, over a decade ago, but I don't remember anything that happened in it. But oh my gosh, I didn't know that they were in love. And then he went off to the war and then never came back for her. I did not know that. Nick calls Daisy and invites her over for tea, and he's so adamant to her that Tom cannot come. Tom cannot come with her to tea. So Daisy has a driver bring her, and the second she looks at Nick, she wraps her arm in his and says, "Are you secretly in love with me? Is that why my husband couldn't come?" And then they go inside Nick's house, and then all of a sudden someone's knocking at the door, and then Gatsby walks in and he sees Daisy. Daisy sees him, and it's a whole thing. Nick gets uncomfortable. He just leaves for a good half hour, and he comes back and Daisy has been crying. And then Gatsby says, "You see that house over there? You should come see it." And so Gatsby takes Nick and Daisy. He wants Nick to be there. He doesn't want to be alone with Daisy. But he takes them over to his house and just starts giving Daisy a tour. Daisy, you're married. But I don't know, other than that, I mean, it's not like they're flirting with each other, and Gatsby is just a nervous wreck. And I don't know. What is happening? So we've just learned that Jay Gatsby's legal name is James Gatz. Gatsby has thrown another party, like he does, and Daisy and Tom both go to the party, which was interesting. They didn't have a good time, but Tom thinks that there's something shady or fishy about Gatsby. And he just keeps saying, he's a bootlegger, he's a bootlegger. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to figure out what he really is and how he's made his fortune. And Daisy just starts lying and yelling out, he owns a chain of drugstores. That's how he's so rich. Okay. Hello, it is the next day. I'm sorry it's taking me so long to get through this book. I'm on page, I think 114, 116. And there's only, I think it's 180 pages. So I was talking to my husband about this book last night, and I said, okay, the narrator, Nick Carraway, he still hasn't done anything that I don't like. I mean, he hasn't done anything that would make me dislike him or hate him.
And then he retracted what he had said a week ago, and he said, oh, wait, yeah, Nick's fine. You'll like him through the whole book, because he hasn't done anything wrong. But the rest of the characters, yeah, they're not the greatest people. What I've read so far since I last checked in with y'all, I read a little bit last night. Gatsby stopped hosting parties. He was having those lavish parties constantly. He stopped doing that. And Nick was wondering why, because that's his neighbor. And so Nick thought, okay, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, all of Gatsby's staff changed. I mean, the chauffeurs, the drivers, the people who do the lawn, the people that, his butlers, the people who bring food, everyone changed. And so he thought, is he sick? What's going on? Why are people being switched around? So he went and knocked on the door. And the butler just said, no, everything's fine, but he's busy right now. Well, then Gatsby appears and he tells Nick, oh, well, Daisy's been coming to see me every afternoon, just about. So now Daisy and Gatsby are having an affair. Oh boy. And then now in this next scene, they're all hanging out. Daisy and her husband, Tom, Gatsby's there, Nick and Jordan Baker, they're all there. And supposedly Tom is in the other room on the phone with his mistress. And then he comes back in the room and Daisy says, make me a drink, make me a drink. She's so whiny. So Tom leaves the room to make her a drink. And then Daisy grabs Gatsby and just starts kissing him and then says, I love you. Okay, so let's just see. Let's see where we go from here. The book, we're almost done. So let's find out. Tom he's figured it out. He's figured out that Daisy and Gatsby are having this affair. He didn't say it was a sixth sense, but he knows. He said he's got a feeling. And then they're all hanging out, and then the girls really want to go into town. They just want to get out of the house. It's really hot. They want to go into town and, I don't know, do something, I guess, to cool off. I have no idea. But then it gets really weird. They're talking about their cars. Tom has a coupe. And I guess Gatsby has a bigger car, a sedan. It doesn't say. Tom calls it a circus wagon. And then, I don't know, it's so weird. Tom just says something along the lines to Gatsby of, I'll drive your car and you can drive my coupe. I don't know, it's very weird. And then Tom looks at Daisy and says, come on, let's get, in this circus wagon. And Daisy looks at Gatsby and says, no, Tom, you go with Nick and Jordan. I'll go with Gatsby. So Tom gets the keys to Gatsby's car, and then Tom drives himself, Nick, and Jordan into town. And then Tom's coupe, which I guess could also be Daisy's coupe because they're married, Daisy and Gatsby get into that coupe to drive into town. I don't know what just happened. And then on the drive there, Tom is telling Nick and Jordan, y'all think I'm stupid. Like, I can see it. I know what's going on. I have a feeling that, I don't know. I don't understand what just happened. If Tom is aware that his wife is cheating with Gatsby, why did he let them leave together? I know Tom's having an affair. I know he's not innocent here either. But if you're putting two and two together right now, why don't you say something? Do you not care? I don't know. They're in town and they found a plaza motel hotel and they got a suite, all of them, all 5 of them. Tom has now decided this is the time to interrogate Gatsby in front of everybody. And he says, you think I like that you're making sweet love to my wife? Oh my gosh. And then what did Gatsby say? Gatsby says, your wife doesn't love you. She's never loved you. She loves me. Tom is losing his mind right now because also on the way to the hotel, they stopped at the gas station and George Wilson was there. And he's the guy that owns the car dealership, if that's what you want to call it. I guess he has a gas station at that garage. So he's there and he's just nonchalantly telling Tom that they're moving, he and his wife, and Tom just starts thinking, no, I can't lose my mistress because, you're taking her away because Tom is, with Wilson's wife. And he's thinking, no, I can't lose her and I can't lose my wife, who is my wife, is having an affair with Gatsby. It's just, Tom's going through all this inner turmoil. And now in present day, they're in the hotel, well, not present day, but after the whole getting gasoline thing, they're in the hotel and he's just going off on Gatsby. And Gatsby is just like, your wife loves me. She doesn't love you. trying to give you an update, but my cat keeps licking me. Y'all, what is happening? I don't know what's happening. So they're having this, altercation in the hotel room or the suite, and Gatsby is trying to get Daisy to admit to Tom that she's never loved Tom. She's always loved Gatsby for the last 5 years. And Daisy finally tells Gatsby, no, I did love Tom. I loved both of you. And Gatsby's really hurt by that. And Tom is saying, yes, of course she loved me. I mean, she married me. She thought you were dead. And so they're all getting into it. And then I guess Tom just said, y'all leave. Just go and we'll meet you back home. So I think Tom dismissed Daisy and Gatsby and said, just go in your car. So I think this is how it went down, because it's kind of confusing. But I think Daisy and Gatsby leave in Gatsby's sedan or in his wagon. So they take off, and then in the coupe, which must be a 4-seater. I don't know why I was thinking, if it's a 2-door car, it's a 2-seater. No. In the coupe, Tom, Nick, and Jordan are in there. And then all of a sudden, Nick says, oh, I just remembered it's my 30th birthday. What? So it's Nick's birthday now. And then they gloss over that. And now, we're all in Nick's point of view. So now I'm guessing at some point Tom has pulled in somewhere. I don't know if he's back at the gas station / car dealership, because now he's in the coupe. He filled up the station wagon or whatever it was with gas, but now maybe the coupe needs gas. And George Wilson is there, and I guess he's super sick. He's extremely sick. He's pale, but he's also green. He's very sluggish. He can't really move around a lot. And there's another person there, I guess a witness, and they hear a noise coming from upstairs. And then I guess George Wilson admits that he's got his wife locked up, and he says, oh yeah, that's my wife. She's making a ruckus, but I'm keeping her locked in there until the day after tomorrow when we get out of here. So I don't know if Wilson found out about the affair between Myrtle and Tom, and now he's locked up his wife and is not going to free her until they can escape. But now George Wilson is super sick. But what did I just read? This was just a couple of pages long. Oh, and I think Gatsby is making his money. This is how he's rich. I think this is during the Prohibition era. No alcohol. I think he's selling alcohol undercover. He's acquired all of these drugstores, and he's selling grain alcohol to people under wraps, because Tom hired a private investigator to look into Gatsby. I think that's what's going on with Gatsby and how he's making all of his money. But so much just happened in just a couple of pages, and I just can't believe Nick just randomly throws out there, oh, I forgot, today is my birthday, I'm 30. I don't know what I can tell y'all and what I cannot tell y'all. I mean, come on, this book is 99 years old, so is it a spoiler? I don't know. I think I'm not gonna say. Y'all should just read the book, but something happens and somebody dies, gets murdered, however you want to put it, and you think it's one person, and then it comes out that it was another person. I mean, I don't know, everybody's lying, and there's so much infidelity and cheating, and we don't like any of these characters besides Nick. Nick is just in shock by everything right now. Y'all should read this book. Oh my gosh. There was another murder. Oh my gosh, y'all. Someone also unalived themselves. Wow, this book is... We're losing a lot of people right now. And then there was another twist. Wow. Okay, so I've finished the book. I gave it 4 stars. Oh my gosh, it's so wild that this is almost 100 years old, and just about everything happening in here, besides selling liquor, behind closed doors, because you can buy that freely now. But besides that, everything else that happened in here, I mean, it happens nowadays. Just
Wow, this was really good. I'm kind of speechless. I think y'all should read it if you haven't. It's been out since 1925. But thank y'all so much for coming along on this journey with me reading my first American classic. Well, I would say it's my first one. There were some classics that I was forced to read in high school, but this is the first one I've read on my own as an adult woman in my 30s. But thank y'all so much for following along, and I will see y'all in the next reading vlog. Bye.